Here's the broad setup of what we are expecting for tomorrow. A big ingredient in all of this is that warm air rising. If you just joined us, you're getting off of work, you're clocking in with Fox Weather saying, okay, what's in the lineup for tomorrow? What's changed? Well, here's the change. We're now at a level 3 out of 5. Earlier today was a level 2. This happened in the afternoon update. Why was that parameter increase? It's for that hail threat. And Ari is going to dive deeper into why that hail threat is in place. But it's this available storm energy. And you start looking at the warmth that we have out ahead of us. I'll give you an example. St. Louis going to tiptoe into the lower to mid 90s tomorrow. That's going to be historic heat that fuels storms. And there's also rising air, and that bubbling air allows plenty of instability. So we're going to have more on what that setup's going to be like beyond just St. Louis, of course, as we look at Indianapolis, Chicago. We said that it's a low-end tornadic potential. It's still on the table, but when you're looking at where the most rotation is, especially with the low-level wind and that jet, that is further to the west. So it'll be something to watch for, is if this southern side of this, and especially the southwestern side, comes alive, that is going to be the area where you have these rogue supercells that could form. As of right now, though, even though it's a low-end opportunity, you still have EF2 intensity. And again, that speaks to the alignment of the ingredients in the atmosphere. When we're looking at this, it goes from Quad Cities to Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Columbus, Indianapolis. Plenty of big cities and interstates that are encompassed in that threat. And when you look at it, there is plenty of rotation embedded in this. When you look at the cross-sectional analysis and you look at the surface winds derived out of the south and southwest, ushering in that record heat, bringing that atmospheric moisture, that's going to be depicted through that humidity. You're going to see plenty of rotation. When you look at the exclusive Fox model, though, you'll notice that orientation west to east and this fire hose effect that truly starts into the evening time. Now, sadly, this is a zone that is familiar with all of this. Let's take you back 2 weeks ago, but they had an earlier in March. Ari, I mean, these communities are saying, look, the hail was one thing. I thought we were done. Now they got to face this again tomorrow.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit of a similar setup in some ways. And I know we were planning out the show and you were like, okay, Ari, I'm going to toss to you. You can tell them how it's going to be a different situation. Well, no, I mean, when I was looking at putting the forecast together, I was like, okay, let me show people how this is going to be a different setup. And the more I looked at it, it's kind of similar. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have 6-inch diameter hailstones or anything like that. It's certainly a possibility, but that's just so outrageously big that it's just kind of a low chance of that happening no matter what. But I think we're going to see some pretty darn big hailstones. Here's what's similar about the forecast. This frontal boundary, right? So there's going to be a frontal boundary that's draped across this entire region from west to east. We'll call it a cold front because it is going to be moving toward the south throughout the day. It looks like most of the storms are going to form north of the cold front. Now, here's the deal. If the storms form north of the cold front, the chance for tornadoes is very low. If they form south of the cold front, we may get an isolated storm or two that forms south of the front. And if that happens, there is the chance that it could produce a pretty strong tornado. I mean, you saw what happened. This was back on March 10th. And remember, we were talking all night about that front. It was actually a warm front that was a little bit farther toward the north. But this was the one storm, the one supercell that found itself south of the front. And it was just south of the front. And it ended up producing an EF3 tornado. Actually, a couple of tornadoes, but it was the same supercell. So again, that frontal boundary, the exact placement of that, I think is going to be the big kicker here. Still, I think most of the storms are north of the front. We're going to have elevated storms, meaning the surface of them is far enough off of the ground that you don't get tornadoes. But could we see a cell or two that's south of that front? Sure, we could. I think we're going to see a lot of hail, widespread hail, some widespread damaging straight line wind, and maybe an isolated tornado or two. But the problem is the tornadoes that do form have that chance of being stronger, okay? So people might look at this map and say, look at this, EF2 plus tornadoes all across the area. That's not the case. It's just for if a supercell forms, it could produce a strong tornado. I don't think that they're going to be very numerous. By far, the number one threat here is going to be hail, okay? And it definitely could be bigger than egg-sized in some situations, that's for sure.